Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Elm Creek Farms. Thank you so much for tuning back in. This is episode number 2, and we're getting right back into the action here. And I sort of set the stage on the role play for during episode number 1, and I talked a little bit about how the fact that I've inherited these farms from my father. And my father is still alive. He lives up there in what we call the big house, and he does enjoy still working a little bit. He's not obviously. I'm running everything and managing all the day-to-day operations of the farm, and he does his best to sort of stay out of my way, and he interjects his opinions. Well, most of the time, but he does like to come out and help us on the farm, help me out on the farm, and so he's basically cultivating in this cotton. This was here, on the map when we started the gameplay. So some of these crop types we're not going to do during this Let's Play series, and so we're just sort of plowing these in. And he's working to do that. We're going to go and get our greenhouses up into production. Oops, don't want to hit that. We're going to be harvesting soon. And hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. It is very early in the morning on Thanksgiving here in the U.S., Thursday morning. My wife and I did some cooking last night on Wednesday. Made some deviled eggs. That's kind of my deal. I'm the deviled egg maker in the family, using a recipe that was handed down to me from my grandmother on my father's side. But pretty much, deviled egg is a deviled egg. But so we did that. My wife boiled the potatoes to get those ready to pan fry up later this morning. We'll get the turkey in the oven as well, and really looking forward to just after we have lunch. I think we'll probably shoot for having everything ready for our noontime meal, and just really looking forward to easing back in the lazy boy and watching some movies, and just relaxing and spending time with my wife. All right, so greenhouses. Greenhouses are very cool. The Giants versions are, anyways, much improved from previous versions. We had these greenhouses built, and my grandfather didn't do any sort of greenhouse operations. He, kind of preferred to grow everything off the land and basically make it available through the farmers market and such. And my father did a little bit. He had a greenhouse that he had constructed up near his house up there by the red barn, but it was pretty basic and pretty much dilapidated by the time that I came of age, and it was to a point to where that I wanted to kind of begin to run the farm. And so let's see, these take 5,000 liters. So let's go ahead and fill this thing back up again before we put that in. Now, you might be wondering, well, Jerry, why don't you just take the water out of the pond there? Well, I couldn't figure out how to do it with this particular tanker or trailer. This is the smaller version that holds 7,000 liters, I think, or 7,500 liters, and I couldn't figure it out. I backed into it, could not get the menu prompt to fill it, and I know others have posted the same issues. However, a lot of people are talking about that 7,300 liters is what it holds. Other people have talked about the fact that you can, but maybe it's the trailer type that I have. I don't know. I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time on it, so we had this installed, and basically this pumps water and filters it a little bit from the pond and brings it up here, and we'll just work with it. We'll just work with it and be happy about it. So anyway, we'll ease over here, and we're going to. I think Dad is done with that. Although I bet that there's still a few issues that we're going to need to clean up on that field as far as getting it all plowed in, cultivated in, or whatever. But we'll do that, and we'll try not to make a big deal about it in with him, because he doesn't like to be told what to do. Doesn't like to be doesn't like to be doesn't like to consider himself as ever being wrong or anything. But anyway, these greenhouses, to get them going, and we've got tomatoes in this one, or as my wife would say, because she lived quite so long in England, tomatoes. And she always corrects me on that when I say tomatoes. We'll go into the greenhouse and we bring up and hit our R key at this icon. We need to figure out which one we're in. I think we're pretty much going to just grow tomatoes to make my wife happy if she sees this video, and lettuce. Actually, let's just do tomatoes on all three of them, just to make things easy. So we're just going to activate, and that way we'll haul more to the store. So we'll activate this one. We come up to this one, and then we will activate that one. And when we back out of the menu, through the magic of Giants and FarmSim 22, we have tomato plants already growing in our greenhouse. And you can do this from just one greenhouse. You don't have to visit each one, but they're good to go. They don't need any other additional product. We don't need to bring in manure, as was the case with the other types of greenhouses that we've seen in past iterations. And we've got a guy here that I employ from time to time that comes in and manages the greenhouse operation. So he gets the plants planted and tends to them a little bit. We just kind of do some of the heavy lifting for him, like moving the water around and potentially taking the product to sell. And we will do that sometimes on camera and sometimes off camera. You know me, I like to kind of keep things fresh and not do the same thing all of the time. I think we'll just take this water tanker right back over here next to the water tank, and we'll leave it right here for now. I'm sure it's going to get in our way several times between now and the time that we eventually get fed up and move it someplace else. But in any event, that's where it's going to go. So we're going to take this John Deere and we're going to go over and we're going to do a little bit of rock picking now. I'm still I'm still new enough to FarmSim 22 that I'm watching some videos, and thank God that there's folks that have already sort of dived in to done deep dives into some of how these different things work and what processes need to be followed and such, as far as whether you plow first, pick rocks second, roll the rocks, whatever. And I'm still you know understanding and figuring out how these things work. But because it's kind of a new function for us, I sort of figured that, well, we would go ahead and go and do some rock picking, just in case you have not seen this particular process, or if you don't have FarmSim 22 yet, if you're kind of holding out and waiting on more mods to be released or whatever, then you might see it here first. So he did okay. He left those little stalks of cotton. I'm not sure. Maybe he's planning on picking those by hand and making himself a hat or something. But I'll just clean that up and not tell him otherwise. I think he must have walked back to the house. But the field that we're going to pick the rocks out of is this one right over here to our left. And we cultivated that yesterday. I don't think I did that on camera. I can't remember. Can't remember. But anyway, this is the rock picker that is in the game. I think there are 2 or 3 different versions of this function, this implement. Anyways, we chose the one with the widest working width, and played around with it a little bit yesterday just to make sure that I kind of understood how it worked. I tend to not like to embarrass myself too much on camera if I can certainly avoid it. So just ease up here to the field. We'll turn it on, and we need to lower it, and we'll proceed to picking up some rocks. I'm telling you that I've got to say I really love the um, the additional graphics that Giants has put into Farm Sim 22, the textures that you see either during cultivating, plowing, as we're doing here, rock picking, are pretty amazing compared to other versions of Farming Simulator. And there's a lot of discussions out on the various forums, especially on the Steam discussion forums, and um, I understand that there's a lot of folks that are just very disgruntled with the game. Maybe I think a lot of it is first timers to the game that have not been around for other iterations of this game, and they're just upset. They don't understand. And yes, it would be nice if software developers could put out a game that worked 100% on day one and did everything that the package says it's supposed to do, and not have any problems, not have any frustrations, and all this kind of stuff. But the world we live in is not perfect, and even I spent 30, a little more than 30 years in the IT industry. Spent the last 22 of those years working for a major software developer and making business software, stuff that costs thousands of dollars, if not maybe even into the millions of dollars, when you factor in the licensing and the maintenance costs and all of that stuff. And there was an entire support department, and to basically help customers report bugs and all this kind of stuff. So bugs on day one, and even sometimes they still exist even into like day 1000. Um, just it's just part of the life and the world that we live in. And so from the perspective of the difference between Farm Sim 22 versus Farm Sim 19 versus Farm Sim 17, we've all seen, in each of these versions, we've seen some problems, we've seen challenges. Giants addresses those, and I've got to say that because Farm Sim 17 was quite a ways ago, quite a long time ago. I don't really remember many of the challenges that we experienced with Farm Sim 17. I know that there were some. Farm Sim 17 could have been considered maybe the Windows 7 of Farming Simulator, where Farm Sim 19 on release was more like maybe Windows 8, whereas there was so many problems and everything that eventually got addressed for sure. But out of the box, I've had really no issues. I've had no crashes, or I've had nothing that has messed up my gameplay in any shape, form of the imagination. And so I don't really know how I got off on this tangent per se, but we just need to be patient and let things progress. Giants is in control, and they will address these challenges and everything in due course. And I even, some folks were complaining yesterday on the Steam discussion groups, and actually upset at Giants because they released Giants Editor version 9 before they released the first patch for Farming Simulator 22. And it's like, okay, well, folks, Giants Editor 9 was in the works alongside of Farming Simulator 22. I doubt very seriously if the Giants developers started working on GE9 the day after Farming Simulator 22 was released. And so these people are saying, well, they shouldn't have released GE9 until they updated the game and released the first patch and fixed all of these problems. Well, again, that's not how things work in the software development industry. These things happen alongside each other. GE9 needed to come out when it did, maybe even slightly before, but we're not gonna argue about that. I think it was out on 3 days after the release, and it gives our modders the opportunity to start doing their thing. And yeah, maybe Giants relies a little too heavily on modders, or at least in previous versions of the game. But I think that they have been listening to us, the users quite extensively between FarmSim 19 and the release of FarmSim 22, and put some of these very cool things into development for us. And our rock picker is full. So I think we got everything off of the field here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drive back to the main farm, and we'll figure out what we're going to do with these stones. I know that you can take them and sell them at the rock crusher. I am thinking though maybe what we will do is pile these rocks up someplace. I don't know where just yet. Pile these rocks up someplace and then wait until we get more than 1,999 liters of the things, and then see if we can load them with our wheel loader into a trailer, and then haul more to the rock crusher. And that way we maximize our time and our effort and fuel and all that kind of stuff. So we'll kind of play around with that maybe off camera and figure out what we need to do to be able to sell more rocks at the rock crusher. All right. Well, I think this is again going to be kind of a short video. Again, this is the wee early hours of the morning of Thanksgiving, and it's going to be time for me to basically click stop on this video and then probably start editing it and everything. But then it's going to be time for me to move upstairs and get that turkey in the oven. My wife and I, since it's just the two of us, we do a smaller, just a turkey breast, so it doesn't take the hours and hours that your large birds take. That some of you large families will be enjoying or will have enjoyed today, because you're going to see this video probably on Friday, um, Black Friday. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. You guys have been just fantastic in welcoming me back to the world of YouTube content creation. I am very thankful for everyone that has left me kind and positive comments to my videos. I very much appreciate that. I do things differently, and we all have our styles that we enjoy conveying to you, the viewer, who watch our content. I'm very thankful, as always, that you guys watch my content as my voice is starting to crack. We do things differently, and I know that many of you will watch others, and that's cool. And I encourage that, because obviously I've got very good friends who also produce content on YouTube, and I want you to enjoy those channels as well. And what we'll do is we're going to regroup here on the farm. I'm going to go talk to my dad, find out if he has any advice for me going forward, because he likes to enjoy afternoon lunch, afternoon coffee, something like that with me, and he reminisces of the old times, and we share ideas and such. And I always listen to him because he's a very wise individual, very wise man. We'll come back for episode number 3 in due time for you to enjoy. And until then, thank you all so much for watching. And if you are watching this channel and you're not subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would click subscribe and click like on the video. It really does help us out. I know we all say that. We all say that, the subscribe numbers going up and the likes motivates us, but it's really true. I mean, it really encourages us to continue to do what we do, and I'm really having a lot of fun. Until next time, thank you all so much for watching. I do very much appreciate it. Please take good care of yourselves. Be safe out there. God bless you all, and come back and see us here on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel very soon. Bye-bye.